affliction. What does Jesus say? Matthew chapter 4 verse 4. What does he say? Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of. And he was quoting Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 3. When God gave the children of Israel manna, right? Now, please connect those two things. The need for physical food and its place in determining the existence of the physical person, and not being the need Jesus had, and then the enemy using that, because that was not an option to Jesus. He was already hungry. And even if God loved Jesus, God would not have made food to enter Jesus' stomach. He had to eat, is it? The enemy takes advantage. But Jesus tells him that, in other words, he's telling him, my very existence is not pegged on my ability to eat or not eat. My very life and the existence of my life is primarily connected to what? To the word of? In other words, he's saying real life. Real life is not the physical and the need to sustain the physical. No. The real life is sustained by the word of God. Are we together? Now, my good friends, please, as we talk about that, please remember that we are coming from seeing the place of food that is not optional in sustaining the body. Are we together? Na hapo hakuna option, si ndio? Alafu Mungu anakuja anasema that one is secondary. That sustaining of the body, which all of us know is so critical, and all of us work unapologetically towards, and we don't even mind the cost. Right now, the cost of food is high, right? But if you think food is expensive, try not eating. Ukifikiria uende kwa supa ubae, this is hot water. Uende kwa supa ukute ati maze, hey, mkate ni 800 grams, 130, 120. Sitakula mkate. Uende ukute maziwa ni 60 something. Sikunywi maziwa, utoke kwa supa hivyo. Sababu umefikiria ni expensive. Utafanya hivyo siku mbili. Si ndio? Because it is not expensive. It may be as the cost continues, people still continue to eat. They may change the diet a bit, is it? But they continue to eat. Because hapo hakuna option. Are we there? Watu wata reduce story ya investment. Alikuwa na buy plot wapi? Aseme ni kubaya sana. Wacha ni reduce. Because huko kwa plot you can do without. What are we saying, guys? Jesus brings a totally different picture and says that the need for the word of God is far much greater, or the need for God is far much greater than the need for physical food, because our very existence is not necessarily pegged on our eating. It's pegged on God. Are we together? Now, if you looked at those two things, what do we need more? Our food or God? Are we there? What do we need more? Are we together? God. When you establish that, the way you have established that you need food, and then because you need food, you work towards it and you go out of your way, when you discover that God is more important than food, then your commitment and love for God is now, you can if you want to know your devotion to God, you don't have to use many things. Only use your devotion to food and compare it to your devotion to God. And then you can tell what you live by. Are we there? Sila, hata usiende mbali sana. Think about your eating habits. How frequently do you eat? How committed are you to eating? And then compare that with your commitment to God. What if now we were having a weighing scale today as a person, your interaction with God, his word, prayer, and now your interaction with food, if they were placed on a scale, ni gani ingeangusha ingine? Tuweke tu hapa katikati. Ni gani ingeangusha ingine? Ni chakula hizi, ndio? Si ndio? Hapo kuna argument. So now, if we were to ask ourselves, do we live by bread or by the word of God? What do we live by? What do we live by? We live by bread alone. Are we there? That is why when people are hungry and there is no money for going to school, people will shelve going to school and they will buy food. Are we together? Because when it is a matter of priority, people will stop going to work and stop doing anything to be able to save some money too. Because at that point, eating becomes the only option. And all the resources must be taken towards, when the government declares drought a national disaster, you know what that means? It means that all the resources that were available to go into things that were not necessary are all channeled towards food. That's why they say MPs will go and rally the government, hey, please declare this hunger national. When that happens, when the government declares hunger a national disaster, there is normally a response by the entire system of government. All the reserve monies from ministries, treasury, they all are taken towards buying food. All the energies, right? It is a crisis of life. Are we together? Now, this is it, guys. Our need for God. Our need for God, which now is what we are calling devotion. It is just that by the grace of, we live by the grace of God. Ni Mungu tu anatusikiliaga huruma. Otherwise, if our very existence was pegged on our interactions with God, all of us here would have died of malnutrition kitambo. Tungekuwa tulikufa. If, like the way your eating habits, see, they will directly affect your physical existence. Ndio? If our interactions with God and how it has been happening is the one that God was